Hi, this is Mike Fauché, and in today's video, we're going to go over the 2TB Thunderbolt and USB compatible high-speed SSD from Orico. This thing claims to have advertised speeds of about 3,000 megabytes a second and read speeds of about 3,700 megabytes a second. This SSD has an aluminum alloy case and an active cooling fan to prevent thermal throttling during heavy workloads. Stick around for the rest of this video to find out more about whether or not this device lives up to its claim. Please remember to take a second and like and subscribe if you find this video useful. Full disclosure, Orico did send me this unit free of charge, but they haven't paid for or influenced this video in any way, nor have they seen the video before it was published. As I do with any product review, I use my own test results, and the opinions of the product are my own. If you've seen any of my videos on the channel, you know that I've tested many SSD enclosures. But today we're going to test this off-the-shelf SSD drive that comes in a 1, 2, and a 4 terabyte version. Looking at the hardware, there isn't much in the box except the drive, the documentation, the USB-C to USB-C cable, which also includes a USB-A adapter. Looking at the drive itself, we have the exhaust grill where the active cooler exhausts the hot air from the drive. Flipping it to the other side, we see the intake vent and the USB-C Thunderbolt USB4 port that's capable of 40 gigabits per second. Something that's a bit different on this drive is the inclusion of an RGB ring. Now that we've seen the hardware, let's plug it in and give it a quick test. Using my MacBook Air, I was getting some really excellent speeds that are on par with the best Enclosures SSD combos I've tested. Running the Blackmagic disk speed test, I was getting write speeds of 3,200 megabytes per second and read speeds of over 2,700 megabytes a second. Looking at the amorphous disk mark, it reached 3,300 megabytes per second of write speeds, 3,200 megabytes per second read speeds, which is pretty awesome. Let's quickly talk about the RGB ring on this device. It's a unique feature that you don't normally see in a device like this, but unfortunately you really can't do much in the way of controlling it, such as brightness or color, and you can't actually turn it off if you're in a darker ambience. It's pretty easy to cover up or just turn it over when you're using it if it bothers you, but during my testing it didn't really bother me all day, but I found it to be a bit bright when it came to nighttime or low light situations. This isn't really a showstopper given the speed and the quality of the drive, but I did want to point that out. It would have been nice if they allowed you to at least control the light, brightness, or even disable it when you didn't want it on. Moving on to cooling, let's talk a little bit about the active cooler. I've criticized many devices in the past for having fans that are extremely noisy, especially for devices that are on your desk or really close to you. Fortunately, the active cooler here is pretty quiet. As you can see from my testing, I measured around 31 to 33 dB in my office ambience, and from about 1 inch away, I got measurements of about 44 to 45 dB, which is actually really quiet, especially given the noise level of the office. Other than my thoughts on the RGB lighting, the drive is actually very good. It stays cool and you don't feel much of the heat going to the outside case. It's pretty quiet and it sits amongst the fastest drives I've tested compared to many NVMe drive enclosure combinations that I've tested in the past. Overall, it's a really nice solid drive, and for the time that I've been using it, it's been working flawlessly. I think that's about it for today's video, and please let me know in the comments if you have any questions on the device or suggestions for future topics. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next video.